நடக்கணும்னா காலர் மைக் வேணும். I'll stand here, no issues. Okay, very good morning to all of you. And this is going to be a semester that's a testing experience for all of us for a variety of reasons. And one significant reason that this is going to bring the best out of us is the fact that though we have been used to the usual practice of taking a class before a physically live audience, this is the first time that we would be handling a class before a live audience, which is not physically before us, but definitely intellectually present before us. So the teaching learning mechanism will definitely undergo a transformational change from different perspectives, and it will be a transformational change for individuals as well. By individuals, I mean the faculty as well as the students. And so the challenges that we will have, not that it is not surmountable, but definitely I will say with 100% confidence that there will be challenges. But with 200% confidence, I can also say that we can overcome that, provided we understand the thought process behind this entire exercise and align ourselves towards certain standard operating procedures that are in place, and not experiment too much. And this is not a time to show the students what we know on various tools available for online classes, but rather a time to teach the students what we know from the subject point of view with the optimal resources that are available in the digital ecosystem. And I'm sure you might have your own set of digital assets that will be better than what we recommend. So you can definitely use that. But don't try to experiment as you move forward and keep trying various other options. Now, with that caveat, I am supposed to address this audience on a very broad topic. So I must easily say that this is not going to be a very intellectual session where you will have to take notes, but definitely a session that will just lay down the backdrop for what's ahead of you in the next 4 sessions that will in detail deliberate on the various modalities and those nuances of this online teaching. So the session is supposed to be on the genesis of online teaching, what to teach and how to teach. There is no historical date to say that this is when online education started. So if you are going to ask me what is the genesis, I must just fall back on the very popular statement that, you know, this online education is an idea whose time has come and could not have come at a time more appropriate than this. So the genesis, the immediate genesis is the COVID, and the historical genesis for this is the invention of the internet itself. So that's the genesis of online education. The World Wide Web as a resource of information is all available under our command. And if we look at what made this possible, to my mind, I can just encapsulate that in just 3 words, where resources are created, disseminated, and consumed. So it involves all the 3, which is creation, then dissemination, and consumption. Well, creation happens everywhere, dissemination happens across available platforms, and consumption happens at the last mile level based on who requires what type of information. So it is all the three that you will also be covering in this exercise: to create, to disseminate, and also consume. Not that creators are not consumers. And that is why in an online education, it is a two-way traffic of information, that you don't stop with creation as faculty. You are responsible for dissemination and you don't stop there. You are also equally a part of this learning experience, where you will have to also do a lot of consumption, because I think that there will be more learning in this new experience, that you will have to consume new learnings, new ideas, new techniques to further enhance the learning outcome of this online education. So on one end, if you have this creation, dissemination and consumption, to effectively put all these three in place is where we have all gotten together. So it is not an individual's exercise, but the team headed by Dr. Naren and all others who have joined him have put in place a clear roadmap which involves the 3 P's, which is again the people who are involved in this exercise, the processes that are very clearly laid down, and the policies both from a faculty and the student point of view. So it is these 3 that will be broadly covered again in the next 4 to 5 sessions. The people who are involved, as I told you very clearly, both the faculty and the students. This is the immediate ecosystem, the immediate stakeholders that are responsible. And without any doubt whatsoever, the people to be excluded will be our own family members, students' family members. They definitely have to be excluded from this, which means that how to, you have to be very clear that let's not celebrate this occasion with family members and ask them to sit next to us and do all sorts of things. Likewise, also expect students not to attend classes as a family, but as just a single student. So the people involved is very essential, and as much as it is restricted to the immediate stakeholders, better will be the outcome of this entire exercise. The process, by now you would have realized that we have clearly decided to use Google Classroom as the transaction medium, and we will be aggressively using it, and I would strongly encourage all of you to get trained in that. Even if you are going to be an early entrant into this sphere of teaching learning, please make sure that the next 3 to 4 months that you will be actively engaged. You also mature over a period of time, so that you also become contributors as we move forward to various other online digital assets that we can create and give not only to our own students but to the rest of the global learner community. The policy is where the how part becomes very clear, and you know that the timetable that we have drawn again is almost similar to the regular timetable that we have. So it's a 1 hour period. It doesn't mean that your video lectures have to be 1 hour durations. And some faculty members would have pre-recorded lectures, some would want to give it live. So how to do on both these possibilities, all of that the subject matter experts will discuss. But for those who attended the academic council meeting, you would realize that Professor Kannan Moudgalya made a very emphatic statement that the lecture span in an online environment make sure it is not more than 30 minutes. So your recorded lectures or your live classroom delivery, one-way delivery, not more than 30 minutes for a 1 hour session if it is live, and I would give it another 10 minutes, making it 40 if you're recording it before, because in a recorded lecture you wouldn't have any disturbance when you're going to open it as per your timetable during the live proceedings. So that the remaining 30 or 20 minutes you have the class available for interaction, which means the remaining 30-20 minutes is not a time that is available for you to discuss on the newspaper headlines or what's happening in sports or politics or all other stuff. It has to be a time that needs to be productively used for an intellectually interactive session between the teacher and the students, or amongst the students in which the teacher is also a facilitator. So what can be taught in that 30 minutes is not a very difficult question. It's an easy question because the answer is very simple, because you are trained to follow a syllabus which goes with 4 units and each unit line by line. So if I were you teaching the course, I would again follow the same syllabus, go line by line, and then explain at the beginning of the class that this is the syllabus and this is what we are going to handle during this class, and finish the 30 minutes with just the conceptual clarity that is required for the line item or the word item in the syllabus that you are covering. Because that is what you are going to also test when it comes to their assessments. So don't use the class to immediately start solving a problem and then searching for screen space and all of that. Unless you are prepared to solve an entire problem in a half an hour period, don't assume things before you start the class, and then in the online space don't struggle to complete the session. Okay, it will create a lot of buzz in the classroom activity. So if you decided that you're going to solve a problem for a particular class, make sure you solve it yourself in a piece of paper and then start the class. Make sure that you can complete that in 30-40 minutes. And even if there is some technical glitch in writing using your scratch pad that you're going to attach to your laptop, make sure it's available in a piece of paper. That is, an immediate fallback in case of any technical glitch. You can immediately show that also. But these are all some of the tidbits, and we can go on and on. But how much you need to teach is 30 to 40 minutes. What you need to teach is the basic conceptual clarity that you have to give to the student by way of a very simple PowerPoint, by way of anecdotal evidence, by way of analogies, by way of a simple problem, by way of some case study, by way of some applicative examples. The choice is yours, but not more than 30 to 40 minutes to explain only the concept. Okay? Avoid reading from books. Just don't keep reading. And since all these sessions are getting recorded, I have always felt that the moment you realize the fact that this is getting recorded, and quite likely that it might also be available in the public domain over a period of time, right? So you don't really worry about your appearance or your costumes when you do household work. But when you attend a wedding, you make sure that you present yourself in the best possible manner. So treat this as an academic wedding session where you will have to present yourself in the best possible manner, because this is going to be put as a recorded digital asset which can be used over a period of time, not only within the Shastra community. If you really do well, it will also be available in the public domain. So your aspirational standards must be that your lectures must be so good that it's available in a public domain, not just for Shastra students, but also for a larger learner ecosystem. So that should be your aspirational standards. So aim for that and then start preparing yourselves. Each of you will have your own technical tools, laptops, desktops, gadgets, mics, what platform you're going to use, how to create a PowerPoint, OBS, or all other sorts of interventions, all that will be covered in the subsequent sessions. And since most of you, and I'm sure all of you will be having a laptop with you, as and when the sessions happen, so that's how we have planned also. We'll keep opening these live platforms, live sessions, live accounts. You also have to practice as the session gets live while it's on the training mode. You also have to be practicing as the training goes on as a participant observer. Okay, don't just be passive observers. You please participate in the training by also carrying out all the instructions, because that's when you will have doubts, and please feel free to ask doubts in the next 2 days. And then from then on doesn't mean that you have become experts in this. Start using it. The more and more you start using it, the more and more you will actually uncover the vast opportunities, potentialities that are available in this form of learning. And to conclude, I have a very strong message. Strong in the sense that it is not in a rude expression, but the intent has to be very strongly embedded, that we are responsible for the students to learn what they are supposed to learn for this semester. And I don't want them to have the feeling that the learning could have been better had they come on a physical face-to-face basis. But definitely it will have its own advantages. But at least at the basic minimum level, the student must at the end of the semester have the satisfaction that given all the constraints that the faculty have delivered their best. So that should be the feedback that I should get from a majority of the students. And there will be definitely complaining students. Well, we should take that as a positive feedback only. But then let's work towards leaving the entire student community a satisfied lot, at least for a majority of the student community feel that they have learnt what they are supposed to learn during this semester. Okay? So I will stop here because I don't want to exceed the time limit. So there is no question and answer session because this is just more things that I just stuck to me. So no prepared speech. So please ask more questions during your subsequent training sessions, and that's where the maximum learning will happen. And please be aware and mindful of the fact that you are responsible for all the 3 activities that tie together this massive exercise, that it is your responsibility to create good content. It is your responsibility to ensure that the content reaches the student through proper dissemination, which is your platform. And then it is your responsibility to consume as much as it is required, both from a teaching point of view, from a learning point of view, and from a feedback point of view. When students give a feedback, please take it seriously and try to improvise on it when you offer it for the next class. Okay? So thank you very much.